So by now, most of you have probably heard about Fans Toys Astro Train. The price went from 150 to 220. There's a lot of speculation and rumor about why. I did a little digging. I'm going to share my research with you, but it turns out that it's not just Astro Train. It's a full-on Masterpiece third-party pandemic. I'm going to talk about that. I don't think any third-party company is going to be immune to this situation in the current operating environment. I'm also going to talk to you about some of what I think is going on. There's some fact, there's some speculation, so I'm going to separate that. And at the very end, I'm going to give you a different point of view that absolutely nobody else is going to tell you. All this fun stuff coming up. So the first evidence that any of this situation was even an issue was the fact that TF Source and Toy Dojo, Chosen Prime, all of the US distributors have updated their price for Astro Train with a release date in October and changed the price from $150 to $220. That's a $70 increase. There's a lot of speculation as to why, but I really thought it was tied just to Astro Train. I think it was a one-time deal. I really thought that all of the factors were getting absorbed into this one figure, and there was a multitude of issues just with this one figure. Turns out it's with pretty much every figure going forward. Now, one of the things that people are saying is it's because of shipping. Now, it appears that there is a current high demand for goods coming out of China, and with that comes a higher price. So the demand is higher than the capacity, meaning that the price goes up, and a lot of stuff is costing a lot more to ship from there. I'm seeing from all of the Chinese retail sites, they put up on their page that stuff's costing more to ship to certain countries, it's taking a lot longer to get there, and all of this information, this is not made up, this is not fake, this is real, and I'm seeing it. It's a challenge. There are also costs associated with manufacturing that are going up. With all these factories that were down in China for so long, getting them back up and getting them fully staffed is a challenge. Now, I've been hearing that as an issue all along, that getting them back to full staffing. I could imagine here in the US getting ramped back up to full production and everywhere. We don't even manufacture that much. I don't even think we have a quarter of the manufacturing that goes on over there. So getting them back to full staffing, it's going to cost more money to get stuff manufactured when they're not 100% yet. But what I hear the most from collectors, from fans, that Fans Toys is just being greedy and price gouging. I don't really think that's the situation. But even if it was the situation, they make a great product, and these figures look good. They're premium. They have a premium feel, pretty good quality, great paint. So they are a premier company, a premier product, and if they choose to charge more, they can. I personally don't think that they charge more on purpose, simply because they want to get as many figures in many people's hands and have a large following, a large base. The more they can manufacture, the lower they can keep the price down. They don't have to grow the price. But that's my belief on the whole situation. I really don't think this is 100% just Fans Toys being greedy. I don't think that's it at all. So with that speculation out of the way, we need to get down to a little bit more facts. This is 100% factual. We've gotten emails about figures getting taken down from pre-orders and put up as new pre-orders. So the Berserker and Outrider. Fans Toys gave the third-party distributors instructions to take those down. Take those pre-orders down, and then we will redesign them and put them up later. I truly think that Fans Toys misrepresented what was going on with it, and it's just they can't hold the old price. So the old price for Berserker was $150, now it's going to be $220. The old price for Outrider was about $100, and now it's going to be $150. And it's because of all of these factors that I have mentioned that's causing the prices to increase. So let's look at this email that we got from Toy Dojo. Now I'm going to quickly read this email, but I've seen this from other less prominent companies. I was waiting to find something from a bigger one like Toy Dojo, and here it is. So thank you for your pre-order for Fans Toys FT21 and FT25. We have been notified by Fans Toys that they will not be offering the figures as originally announced anymore. The figures are being redesigned and will be shown off and solicited at a later time, which resolicited a day later, by the way. Therefore, we will be removing the items from the site and canceling pre-orders for this. If you lumped these figures in with something else and want to switch out another figure, please let us know. We will be removing them from the existing orders shortly. Toy Dojo team. Now, Toy Dojo is very reputable, and they just simply pass this information along, and this is a sticky situation because every single person in the channel, in the distribution channel, has costs, has expenses, and they plan to make some sort of profit with the shipping, with the production delays, with the increase in the price, with the increase in what Fans Toys is going to charge. Toy Dojo wouldn't make a profit. In fact, they would probably lose money if they sold it at the old price with all that's going on now. So I have another picture to show you. This is TF Source. So we've got Toy Dojo, we see what's going on there. We've got TF Source here. I like to bring them up because they are, if not the biggest player, maybe Chosen Prime's as big, same size, but I always feel like TF Source just does the most volume. Anyway, looking at TF Source, you can see their pre-order stock up top. Starting at the left, we have Dune Rider, then we have Iceman. So Dune Rider's 100, which is about what we expected. Iceman, 135. That's a $20 jump. I don't think that's huge. Everyone was expecting like 115, so now it's 135, $20 jump. Magnum still seems to be at the same price. I don't know what's going on with that. The Honk still about the same price, 89. But then next you see Outrider at 150, and then Berserk at 220, and then down below, the very next one here, Fans Toys Thomas at 220 is sold out. So this is something else I want to reiterate. Even with the price jump, $70 price jump overnight, they are all sold out. That's impressive, and maybe people want to jump on it before price even gets even higher because it's not going to come out till October. But that's an interesting thing to look at. And people say, well, maybe all the shipping stuff will get resolved, production stuff will get resolved by then, and we kind of go back to normal pricing. But I personally don't think we're going to go back. I think once we take this step forward in pricing, there is no pricing step back. Now, offering a little insight into Dune Rider and Hunk, and these mini bots seem to stay about the same pricing as they initially gave guidance to. The reason for that, I think, is because they're smaller. You can cram more of them into a case, so the shipping impact is going to be minimal on these two. The other ones, say Astro Train. Astro Train, you're going to get 6 in a case. For these, you're going to get 20 in a case. Something around 20. 21, I mean, however it fits in there. 20 in a case. So the shipping increase for 6 versus the shipping increase 20, it's going to be a much different. It's going to be a third of the cost associated with it. It's not going to be as impactful per figure in that regard. Plus, I don't know how the manufacturing will work on it, and I don't know where they are in this, but maybe they're further along in the manufacturing in this. I don't know. But the reality is these prices have not been affected. They have not been given guidance. The other ones further down the road are the ones getting the guidance. The ones shorter term, such as Sheridan and these guys, aren't given an increase, a price increase, like the bigger guys are and the future releases are. Because I really don't think that their Trailbreaker is a whole lot bigger than these guys. I mean, maybe it's about 60% bigger, but it's not a whole lot bigger like Astro Train is. Way bigger than these guys. So the next thing I want to point out is that we don't live in a bubble to where just Fans Toys is the only one out there affected by this. Every third-party manufacturer that manufactures in China is going to be affected by this. In fact, anyone that manufactures anywhere importing into any other country is going to be affected by shipping issues, and it can be affected by manufacturing issues, especially with factories shut down and all that stuff. It's just the new normal that we're entering into. So this new normal is going to cost us more. But at the end, I'm going to tell you something else at the end of the video. So we haven't gotten Virtues yet. Now, I've already done paid for mine. I expect mine to show up for what I paid. But then again, will this backfire on me? I mean, will it get canceled and refunded? I don't know. I hope not, because I got it on a sale, a special deal, and I took advantage of a lot of things, paid my money up front a long time ago. I still expect this to show up to my door when it comes and gets released, and I kind of hope it does. Now, will X-Transbots be charging more than the 130 for this? I don't know. As we know, Keith's already been gouging us since the very first Minosaur release. So with Keith's gouging on the trailer and the shipping and the manufacturing costs and all of those, how much is this trailer going to be? Like, that's a huge question. How much will this trailer be? The price isn't even out yet. In fact, you don't even see pre-orders for the U.S. retailers yet. And the TF Direct, Show Z, and those over there, they have pre-orders up with no price yet. So we still don't know the price of this thing. I expect to have it by now. I really did. I expect to have gotten this thing by now, or at least gotten it shipped to me, and I'm waiting for it to come. I'm still waiting for the price. I don't even know. And we're all looking forward to MMC tapes, and they're reissuing some and with different colors and stuff. So this $60 Ravage is now a $100 figure. Go figure. Because it's got a 35-cent cage with it. 35 cents worth of plastic to make a cage. Now this Ravage here is, instead of 60, 100. I really think that that's their way of trying to give you a little bit of value with the price increase. I mean, MMC stuff is going up, but they're about to put out more cassettes soon, I hope. What's the price of those going to be? Are they all going to be 100 apiece? So if I told you, if you stick with me to the end, I'm going to tell you something a little bit different about how I look at this whole situation. I'm not happy that we have to pay more for Astro Train and all these figures that are coming up. But the reality is that hyperinflation could be coming to the U.S. I personally believe it is. You can read this you can pause and read this and say, okay, are all of these things happening in our country, whatever country you live in, then hyperinflation is probably coming to your country. If it does, I'm going to give you a quick little example of what hyperinflation looks like. So this might make you feel good about buying something for $220 now. So Astro Train is $220 right now. So I did a little math here. At hyperinflation, they calculate 50% inflation a month on hyperinflation. I would say that we are seeing pre-hyperinflationary pressures if it's 50% a year. So I'm going to go very excruciatingly conservative in a hyperinflationary market and say 50% increase a year. We've never seen that, by the way, for a sustained period of time. So if we bought it, Astro Train for $220, a year from now, inflation, it would be value of $330. So if you would try to buy it then and they reissued it, it would be $330. 2 years from now, it would be $495. 3 years from now, it would be $742. 4 years from now, $1,114. Now, these are all conservative. And then 5 years from now, $1,670. And that doesn't even take into account the Fans Toys figures without hyperinflation, usually double in value once they sell out, and some of them triple and quadruple in value depending on rarity. So you could see in 5 years paying $2,000 for this guy if they never reissue it. But then again, if they reissue it, they'd reissue it in different colors, and a different color usually is the more valuable one and the more sought after one. But all of those things, ceteris paribus, everything else remaining the same, you'd be paying $2,000 for this thing in 5 years if you don't pay the $220 if we see rampant hyperinflation. Now then, that gets back to, do you consider your collection a store of value? I have to admit, I do. I did not used to think this way, but when I buy my figures for retail value and then I see everybody selling them for triple the value, it makes me feel good about my collection. I feel good that I don't have to pay that triple amount of money to buy this figure down the road. They call it the late tax, but the late tax, I think, is going to be much worse in the future from this point on, and it's going to be what's considered the new normal. And with that, I feel good about buying my figures for what they're going for now, because I know in the future they're going to go for astronomical amounts. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff. Have you had your pre-orders canceled? Have you seen anything you've pre-ordered and been looking forward to shift or change in your, what do you call that, a stack? All the places have their stacks and call it something different. Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Titanium Hanger out.